What's up, guys? I'm back again. This time, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the last last season of University of Hawaii men's basketball. And last time, I did a double take with University of Hawaii's road trip to Bakersfield and Cal Poly, which was 2 wins, putting them at 4-0 in the Big West. So today we're doing Cal State Northridge, and this was a home game, and this one was a game that I covered because it was at the Stan Sheriff Center. So obviously, first of all, before I get to that, I'd like to show you as normal, which has become the norm here. Here we are. I'd like to show you all my print story at Kaleo, and I had predicted this was my prediction story of where I thought that UH would finish. And I said they finished in third. I predicted they'd finish third. And as far as CSUN was concerned, I thought they would win. And as it turns out, they did. But I will say this, though, it didn't come easy. But UC Santa Barbara was extra tough. But we're going to discuss that in another video. But for now, we're going to talk about Cal State Northridge. And it was on January 27th, 2022, which was also which was also the birthday of UH forward Kamaka Hepa. By the way, it's the same birthday as one of my cousins, as a matter of fact. I didn't really want to say that to him because I kind of thought that was like, oh, whatever. That was kind of like a, oh, whatever. But anyway, I'll go ahead and share my screen. So here we go. Of course, as you can see, they call themselves the Matadors. And as I put this, they steamed past Northridge, which was actually a wire to wire win, but it didn't come easy. And although they won this game, they did get exposed on one thing. I'm going to talk about that in a few moments. But anyway, there's my headline: Bows steam past Northridge. Second headline: Bows make it 6 in a row with Northridge win. And yes, it is 6 in a row, 5 in conference, 6 overall, obviously because UC San Diego did not count towards conference play. Of course, in the photo, that's Bernardo da Silva, one of the X factors of this game. 19 points, 9 boards. He definitely proved that he was ready for the season after a hand injury sidelined him for much of the non-conference season. As you can see, started out by saying life in Hawaii is good. And yes, it is. With a 6-game win streak, you bet your booty's life is good. And as you can see, they won 72-65. And this is a bit of a significant factor here because I mentioned the last game, 4 consecutive games back in 1982, UH held their opponents to under 60 points, which was very significant because that's the first time that's happened in 4 decades. And I was unaware of this because obviously that was way before my time. And of course, as I said in the first big paragraph here, this is the first time the Bows have won 6 in a row since that magical season of 2015-16. Whereas in 2016, they won the Big West and made it to the NCAA tournament second round, where they ultimately fell. I believe it was to the Terrapins. But anyway, UH shot 44 under 48%. and they buried 23 field goals. Although they were -5 on field goals converted to CSUN's 28. But this was the thing that, but this was the one of these stats that certainly told the story. They nailed 7 triples, but they were all in the first half, 7-2. After the first half, the Bows had 7 triples. How many did CSUN have? 0. And then in the second half, CSUN hit 2 triples, UH 0. So, as you can see, Da Silva, 19 points, 9 boards. Noel Coleman had another good game at 14, and he was a perfect 6 of 6 at the free throw line. And obviously this was definitely a damn good birthday present for Kamaka Hepa, let me tell you. Because anytime the Bows play, because if the Bows played on my birthday and they won, that'd be the best present for me. And of course, Junior Madud also with 8 rebounds. And of course, he and Javon McClanahan at 10 points. And McClanahan has become a really key factor on not only assists, but also on triples as well. And I think this was probably the game where I really think that Bernardo really had proved that he's one of the guys to watch on this UH squad. And believe me when I say this, he will be a force to be reckoned with next year. And of course, head coach Eran Ganot saying that why were they on a 6-game win streak? Team morale. I don't disagree with that. I think, but another reason is that they're a lot more competitive, and getting Bernardo back for this season definitely played a key factor in getting them to where they are. And of course, I'll go ahead and say right now that UH got 2 wins over CSUN. They've ended the season at CSUN, and that was a blowout win for UH on the road. And of course, UH got into a rhythm quickly, both offensively and defensively, as I said here. And as I said, they had 7 triples. They were 7 for 13, so that's about roughly 50%. And that's really good when you can shoot over 50% on triples in the first half. That's really good. So anyway, UH was able to keep a healthy lead throughout. They actually built it to 20 points in the second half. And this was kind of surprising. This was a kind of a surprising thing here, going 1 of 2 at the free throw line, whereas CSUN, they were probably 2 out of 3. And of course, the second half, they were just too far ahead, but Northridge did come back. And this could have been the first time that UH held 5 straight opponents to 60 points or less, but unfortunately was not meant to be. But I think in the long run, who cares? Really? Yeah, I mean, who cares? Holding 4 opponents to under 60 points is a damn good stat to have, especially when it hasn't happened in 4 decades. So anyway, Northridge, and as I said here, Northridge did cut the deficit to single digits. They actually got to within 7 or 8, but UH was able to make their free throws down the stretch to keep them at bay. And the one thing that they got exposed on is turnovers. And this is that statement that backs that up. Coach Ganot emphasized that turnovers were brutal. They had 10 in the first half, 6 in the second half. They did a little better. But here's the thing. CSUN did way better in both halves, with 3 turnovers in the first half and only 1 in the second half, to total 4 turnovers. And to hold them off is really significant, especially when Bakersfield had only 5 overall in UH's road trip there. So, as you can see right here, what Ganot said, turnover differential is huge. Unfortunately, this will cost UH after winning 7 in a row. They got exposed on turnovers, and that caused them to drop their next 3 games, but we'll discuss that later on. But overall, UH did really well. They out-rebounded their opponents again. Second chance points, they've been really well. They did really well, I should say. Bench points, they've been great. I think the one thing that kind of But I think the one thing that has kind of hurt them off and on is points in the paint. Here, just this didn't hurt them because they still got the nod. They still got the win, and they outscored them 38 to 28. CSUN, that is. And this game, UC Santa Barbara, was a game for the record books, and that's a game to remember for me personally. So this was a key win. UH managed to remain unbeaten. They make it 5 straight in conference play, 6 in a row overall. And it's looking time and time again. And at that time, I think that win streak was solid proof that COVID pause they had was a blessing in disguise, especially taking into account that Kamaka Hepa got hurt in the Diamond Head Classic and Bernardo Silva was still on the sidelines with a hand injury. So basically, that's it. And I'm going to stop sharing here. Now, at this point, by CSUN, I thought by conference play they'd be 6-3, but of course, the first 3 games were canceled. 2 at home, 1 on the road. Davis, Riverside, and Fullerton. Fullerton was a road game. Davis and Riverside were home games. So anyway, I thought they went over CSUN, and I was right. But I actually thought that they would split the homestand because UC Santa Barbara has a good reputation as a basketball team. They were picked to win the league. They won the league last year. I'm pretty sure they won the league last year. Yes, they did win the league last year. So anyway, at this point, I thought they'd be 6-3, but they're 5-0. Obviously, you have to apply a bit of an asterisk because we're still in COVID protocols, and who knows when COVID-19 will be behind us, especially since it's stuck around for 2 years. But anyway, that's going to do it, and we're going to cover the next game of UC Santa Barbara next. And I actually thought they were going to lose that game, basically because Santa Barbara's the defending champs, but they didn't. I'll go ahead and say that right now. But we'll discuss that in the next video. So for now, Alamapono. I'll see you all soon when we discuss UC Santa Barbara next time. See y'all soon.